Tales to Astonish, number 27, January 1961. The Man in the Ant Hill. The story begins with scientist Henry Pym exclaiming in triumph as he holds a test vial, declaring a breakthrough. He demonstrates his success by shrinking a chair to doll size. He then applies a few drops of a growth potion, and the chair returns to normal size. Pym declares this moment the greatest triumph of his life. As the chair grows, his mind drifts back to a past science convention where he had been mocked by peers for pursuing imaginative projects. In the flashback, Pym argues against sticking to only practical research and vows to focus on inventions inspired by imagination. One scientist sarcastically asks what he's working on, and Pym refuses to explain, declaring he'll prove he is a greater scientist than any of them. Henry Pym works in isolation for months, perfecting his size-changing serums. He envisions the benefits to humanity, including cheap shipping and transporting entire armies in one plane. He confirms the serum's effectiveness on inanimate objects like a chair and prepares for the ultimate test, using it on himself. Confident in his results, he pours a few drops of the reducing serum onto his arm. The reaction is immediate. A glowing aura surrounds him as he rapidly shrinks. He watches in awe and concern, realizing the serum is working faster than expected. Now tiny Henry Pym flees the lab in panic, realizing the antidote is on the window ledge and far out of reach. He shouts for help, but his voice is too faint to be heard, except by a group of nearby ants that react to his cries. Pym stops shrinking but is too overwhelmed to notice. Spotting an anthill, he panics as the ants detect and pursue him. He runs, hoping to hide inside the tunnels. Entering the anthill, he thinks he may be able to escape by staying hidden inside one of the chambers. But before he can act, he stumbles into a vertical shaft and falls, crying for help as he plummets deeper. As he descends, he sees a strange substance below and reacts in fear just before impact. Henry Pym lands in a pool of thick honey stored by the ants for food. Struggling to escape, he finds the sticky substance clinging tighter with every movement. As he sinks, a large red ant approaches. Instead of attacking, it begins to pull him free. Pym is stunned to realize the ant means no harm and releases him, but the danger returns as more ants close in. Glancing around, Pym spots a giant matchstick the ants must have dragged in while building their tunnels. Realizing its potential as a weapon or distraction, he hopes it's still dry enough to ignite. With urgency, he grabs a pebble and aims it at the sulfur tip of the match, telling himself he must not miss as the ants advance. Henry Pym successfully strikes the match with his pebble, igniting it and creating a fire that momentarily drives the ants back. Seizing the chance, he fashions a makeshift lasso and begins climbing. Midway up, he spots another ant lying in wait. It attacks fiercely, proving too strong for him. However, Pym uses his intellect and knowledge of judo to flip the ant away and continues climbing. Spotting a tunnel exit ahead, he pushes toward it, desperate for escape. After a frantic dash, he emerges outside and sees the enlarging serum on the window ledge, just out of reach. Exhausted and cornered, he sees ants closing in and realizes he can no longer run. Trapped and desperate, Henry Pym spots the ant that saved him earlier. Hoping it understands, he gestures toward the window ledge. Remarkably, the ant responds and begins climbing the wall with Pym on its back. Reaching the ledge, Pym bathes himself in the serum. As it takes effect, his body rapidly returns to normal size. Recovered and grateful, he decides the serums are too dangerous and pours them down the drain. At the next science fellowship meeting, he tells his peers they were right. His experiments were foolish and impractical, but as he walks away alone, he remembers the one small ant who unknowingly saved his life.